My name is Ian Mccown, and I'm a self help author. I write about alcoholism and recovery, two extremely fun topics, especially good icebreakers. If you want to talk to somebody, that's always the way to do it. Not really. Honestly, I'm writing a new book. It's not going to be out until 2023, and this is a very small YouTube channel, which, boy, I hope it reaches some people. I wish that I can help some people because I want to do more than just write. And I'm horrible at recording videos. To be honest with you, I'm going to stutter. I'm going to mess up. Might get off topic a little bit, but still, hear me out. I get a little nervous for some reason when it comes to recording videos. It happens. So, right onto the topic. Uh, Admitting to a problem versus accepting that you have a problem. Two very different things. Very different things, but they both sound so similar. So I wanted to kind of talk about that, and also the motivations behind getting help. Why you need motivation. Why being forced to get help is not always the best thing for you. So let's start with the accepting that you have a problem. See, on my 21st birthday, I had already been excessively drinking for years prior to that. But it wasn't until my 21st birthday that's when I noticed alcohol withdrawals. And in hindsight, I had been having them for a bit before that, but they became most notable on my 21st. And I admitted to myself that, I am an alcoholic. I have a problem. Right? But that was it. I was still in denial. I didn't accept it. I said it to myself, but the words, they did not stick. I would joke about it. I would say, oh yeah, I drink a lot. I would say, oh yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Who cares? Kind of a thing. I would joke. And I did not get help until much later. And, sorry. And it was the day I got help that I accepted that I had an issue. And I fully accepted it, which was very surprising because prior to that, my health was getting so bad. I was getting weaker. I was struggling a lot. I couldn't even walk up or down stairs, to be honest with you. I couldn't do really anything. I would get so tired so quickly. I wasn't eating a lot and I was drinking a lot. I think at that particular point, I was doing about 50 shots of vodka a day. It was throughout the day because I would get my withdrawals and then I would drink. And I would keep drinking throughout the day. And I did not want to give up alcohol because I didn't see a future without it. And I thought to myself, you know, I would much rather die than give this up because what else is there for me? I wasn't suicidal. It wasn't like that, but I knew as far as my health went that things were going downhill. And if I didn't do something about it, I would die. And upon going to the hospital, kidneys were failing, stuff was going on with my liver, really big imbalances that could have really killed me. I had to be sedated in the ICU for 3 days, hallucinations, extreme confusion. It was a lot of problems. It was very, very bad because my body was freaking out without alcohol. But I don't regret getting the help I did because I'm here today. And I'm glad that for some reason I accepted it, that I had a problem, and I made the decision to get help. I did it because I wanted to get help. I didn't do it because other people wanted me to get help. I did it because I did. It was a very big difference between the time when I admitted to having a problem Because they say, oh, admitting you have a problem is the first step, right? And I think that's half true. But I think because you can say that, but does it stick? You know? And this is something I'm writing about in my new book. And it's not going to come out until 2023. And if I can help people via YouTube, for example, then that's great. That's all I want to do. I want to help people. You are more than welcome to buy my books. I have Alcoholism and Its Stories, and I have Sobriety and Strength. If you are wanting to buy one, don't buy them both. Sobriety and Strength came after Alcoholism and Its Stories, and I took stuff from Sobriety and Strength and put it into Alcoholism and Its Stories when I redid it. So that way, whatever book you buy, you kind of get a bit of everything. I'm not in this for the money. I'm trying to honestly help people who are in the shoes I was once in because of how miserable that was. And every time I look back on it, it's still traumatic to me. And I don't want to see people honestly suffering like that. I want to help people get help. And if you are going to get help, make sure you get help safely. Remember that alcohol withdrawals can be dangerous. Look into it. So back to my point. Being forced into getting help versus wanting to get help. I think helped me because I've relapsed a few times, sure, but I've never relapsed to the point where I'm back to how I was before. I would relapse, and then I would immediately get back up and continue my sobriety. I don't do AA right now. I haven't done it in years. I do therapy and medication. It helps a lot. So I keep getting off track, so sorry. But something I noticed in AA was this. Those who were court-ordered, and if you don't know what I mean by that, for example, if you get a DUI, you get arrested and charged, then sentenced, you may be ordered to do AA. And in meetings, I think the secretary at the meeting is the one that signs the paper that says the person court-ordered was present. And then once they finished that, they would stop showing up. And it always made me wonder, because oftentimes those that were court-ordered weren't really wanting to be there. They didn't really. Some did. Some did actually want to be there. Some really did make an effort to try to fix their issues. Some people did not. So, and it makes me think because they were forced to be there, and I was willing to be there. Sorry, my nose keeps itching. It's itchy. And I always, if somebody does want to get help, I want to make sure that they really want to get help, because the recovery process can be such a pain in the ass, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not one of those self-help authors that's going to be like, my life is just perfect without alcohol, or everything's going to be just swell with your sobriety. Bullshit. You want the honest answer? Sobriety, being sober, and the recovery process in general can be a really big bitch. The other night, I wanted to drink so badly. There was no reason why. I just wanted to so badly. I didn't. But my life is not perfect. I struggle like hell sometimes, and that's okay. Point is if I do relapse, I'm going to try my best to get back up and keep going forward. So, yeah, I noticed that with people who are court-ordered. And it made me think about, people forced to do things like AA versus people who are willing to do it on their own. And it just made me think about people who might be in it with alcohol right now, that I want them to want to get help. I want them to really have the motivation to improve themselves, because it matters. Having motivation to stay sober is important. And also to make sure that your support system understands addiction. I've talked to some people who asked me, what's addiction like? And I would explain it to them. And in my newest book that I'm writing, I'm trying my best to help people understand addiction, because it's important. I mean, honestly, if your support system doesn't understand it, how can they be as helpful? They don't have to go out and become addicted to something, but it just means them having an understanding about how hard addiction can be. Because honestly, if you don't understand the problem, how are you going to fix it? And I think that's something that's often overlooked. And if I can make my book kind of focus on that more, I focused on that in my previous books too, but I don't feel like I did enough. Yeah, it's important. A little bit about me to kind of introduce myself, because I plan on making more videos. I struggled like hell with alcohol. I was what you would call a fast and crazy drinker. What that means is I was excessive, and I got to a bad point quickly. Some people don't get help until like 20 years, honestly, after they started drinking excessively. For me, it was much shorter. I had to be hospitalized, which was horrible. 6 days in the hospital, 8 hours in the ER, 3 in the ICU, and the rest on a general medical floor. And it was very traumatic. I knew that sorry, pardon me. I knew going into it that I was going to have to be in the hospital for a while. I knew that from the get-go. I knew I was going to be put in the ICU because I knew what my body would do without alcohol. But even so, it was traumatic. I hallucinated so much. I would hear things that weren't there. I was sedated often. I remember one time, which is kind of a funny story. I remember one time, because I was under the assumption that ICU rooms had bathrooms in them. Maybe some do, but this one did not. I was sedated, and then I woke up. And I really had to have diarrhea. And it just so happens that a nurse walks in. And she sees me, and I'm like, can you help me get up so I can go to the bathroom? And she walks out. She's like, one moment. Goes out, and I'm assuming that she's going to get like somebody else to help with her, to help me get up so I can go to the bathroom. No, she comes in with what looks like a blue plastic top hat. And then once she told me to roll over on my side, that's when I knew something else was going to happen, which was oh so fun. And they just said, well, we're going to step outside. We'll be back to check on you in just a moment to see that you're done and all that. And I'll never forget that. And also, thank God I was sedated when they put the catheter in me, just saying. Getting it pulled out was... See, I try to use humor a little bit. Talking about this sort of thing is kind of depressing. But I feel it's necessary. I don't really know what else to add on to this, other than to just kind of talk about accepting that you have an issue versus admitting to it, and motivations and people being forced versus people who want to do it. And I've met people who have done well with their sobriety, staying sober, who were forced to do it, either by court ordered, Either they were court ordered, sorry, not good at these videos, or they were pressured by their family, and then while getting help, they realized their issues. So, I wanted to talk about that. And also, if you are a support system and you are trying to be there for somebody who is struggling, make sure you read up on what addiction's like, so you can kind of get a better idea of what they're going through to help them out. You know, it's beneficial. It doesn't mean you have to go out and get addicted to something or have a history of addiction. It just means that you need to study up and just kind of learn about it, because it can really help when you are trying to help somebody. If you understand it, that's great. You know, so. And also, if you are struggling currently with it, I encourage you to, of course, get help safely, because alcohol withdrawals can be dangerous. And number 2, to do as much research as you can, to just fully understand it. I don't care whether or not people buy my books. I just want to help people. I get the struggle, I get the pain. And I wish there weren't so many deaths related to alcohol. And I think if we are all there for each other, and I'm trying to do my part with these books, maybe those statistics can be lowered and people can understand more. Anyway, if you are interested in me or my books, I have a thing in my bio. If not, don't worry about it. Thank you for watching the video. I hope this reaches some people. I'll make more videos, but I do apologize for my poor video making. Thanks, and take care.